and a new series, a new episode, a new series and a new build. Welcome to the channel, and if you haven't come across this channel before, pretty much what I do is build bikes. And I have a lot of fun in the meantime doing the bike building as well. The new project for now, we've got a few bikes out of the way. We've got the Honda CV750 finished. That is done. That went over to the Bike Shed show to be shown there. Just waiting for that bike to have an MOT and then we can take that on the road. In the meanwhile, for those of you waiting for the GS550 video, it has been recorded here. And I've been playing around with the jets, getting that to run smoothly and everything like that, and everything that's involved with carbs pretty much. But that has been out on the road. It's a fun ride. It is actually fun to ride. But what we are going to be talking about today is the Ducati Monster. This is for submission for the Bike Shed 2020 show. So it is end of August now. Submissions are sort of January. I've got until January to get the bike into a good enough state to submit it, to show them what it's going to look like, and to then hopefully have it selected to be shown on the show as well. First things first, it's such a beautiful day. It's bank holiday weekend, so I'm going to roll this bike out and see what we're going to do to it. And so this made for an interesting ride on the way home on Friday night. I was working in Manchester, decided to take the bike in to avoid all the traffic, and then as you can see from this spill along here, something happened to the rear brake and there is no brake whatsoever in there, and I think it is leaking out the caliper, but it's a good job that we're replacing everything on it. So what made it worse is the fact that the front brake was then locking. I think the problem goes all the way down to the caliper here, so the caliper is sticking. So riding home with a sticking front brake coupled with the fact that I had no rear brake was a real interesting ride home. 40-mile ride home on that. That was not good. Blank canvas, what we're going to do with it. I mean, I do like the Monster as it is, don't get me wrong. I think Ducati have done a brilliant job with the Monster and it looks as mean as anything, but there are a few issues I don't like, or a few issues I think I'd change. I kind of like the whole Monster muscle bike shape it's got, but I think it could be a lot more streamlined. So what we're going to do is a carbon fibre fuel tank, a custom fuel tank that's going to be a lot lower, a custom cowl and seat, and a custom half fairing at the front there, coupled with some new wheels. Not going to be the 3 spokes are going to be gone. Some CNC'd aluminium cam covers, a CNC'd yoke as well, I think that might be an option. And then just give it one heck of a mean paint job. Obviously spray everything else, and a brilliantly nice orange frame going through it. I think that would be exactly what is needed for the Bike Shed show next year. So you've really got to admire Ducati's engineering and their design department for what they've done here. It is cram-packed. So for those of you not familiar enough with a Monster or anything like that, or Ducati, or it's Ducati in general, these engines are the 90-degree configuration twins, and crammed up from here. Obviously you've got your 2 exhausts coming out, one there, one at the back. Up here you've got your carburetors then, obviously old school carburetors. This isn't fuel injected, but you've got your carburetors up there. Then your air filter box, massive battery on the back here, but everything is neatly crammed up in this one little section in the tank. And then on top of that you've got fuel in the tank as well. And I think it might be, I'm not sure, it might be something like a 17 litre capacity, which pretty big fuel tank considering that all this is kind of lost, if that makes sense, which I'm guessing is why the fuel tank actually does come up quite big, is to surround all that. But what we can do is, I mean, I'm going to stick to having the air filter box in here, only because obviously converting to pods does have its advantages. but at the same time, it's a massive pain in the bum, only because you've got to rejet it and everything like that. But if I keep everything stock, in theory, it shouldn't need rejetting. And besides, this has been actually tuned and rejetted to actually take this air filter here, so the air filter box has been modified slightly. But what I can do is chop off that little top bit there, so I can at least get a little bit of height back from there. Probably keep the battery, or if I'm not going to keep the battery, at least change it to an anti-gravity or something a little bit smaller. The idea is to take the height down a little bit, this trellis line here, take that back, possibly have the tank coming up from there into a seat, so the seat then goes back. Cut off these tabs here, and these are obviously places for a pillion passenger to grab on, and also it's quite handy if you want to be moving the bike around, but not going to be carrying a pillion passenger on there, so I might as well get rid of it. Then you've got this massive witch's paw at the back, which goes all the way back. The idea is if I cut there, I can keep the workings of this intact, then use that for the new seats. Obviously the light or anything's not going to be there. Get rid of all that, get rid of these side covers, and I think that's probably a good place to start. So the process of what I'm going to do is create a new shape out of some, what I could describe as insulation foam in a way. Create a new shape out of that, then mold clay around it. Obviously I'm not going to do it all in clay because it's going to take a heck of a lot of clay to do that, but if I use the foam first of all, it saves a lot of material. Refine it with clay, then create an outer casing out of fiberglass, a mold, a split mold. Once I've got the split mold done, then create the carbon fiber tank. Then that way I can create multiple tanks if I need it. I can create different prototypes, create more tanks for my own need if I need to change the tank or if I break it or anything like that, but it's all going to be in carbon fiber. Coat the inside with a fuel resistant resin as well. That's essential, otherwise it's going to eat straight through it. Now the guys over at Bangor University in North Wales, the product design course, have kindly offered me their knowledge and their equipment as well in order to build this bike, and it's going to be a pretty good collaboration with them. Those of you who don't know about the Bangor University course, they've got unlimited amounts of gear, equipment, really cool stuff, CNC machines, plasma cutters, 3D printers, everything. Go check out their website if you're interested in doing product design course. Check them out, but I'll be showing my workings with those guys, and they've obviously got the knowledge on how to produce this thing so that it holds fuel and that it's safe as well. So I guess the next step for me now is to draw it up and see exactly the shape I'm going to take. So let's take this picture here, take the drawing inside on the iPad and start sketching out. So obviously stripping it down to its basic frame, I've done all that in Photoshop, and I've kind of pieced a few little bits together that I can find just from a flat graphic because it's kind of easy to work that way. And obviously, as a lot of you know, I'm going to start off with an orange frame because for this build I just like orange. I know that a lot of people are going to say it looks like a KTM, but I don't care. And kind of drawing a few lines at the moment just to see the direction of where the back goes and where the tank's going to meet and all sorts. Then sketching out a rough idea of what I think the tank's going to look, following those lines and putting a little front fairing on. And then once I'm happy with the shape, refine it a little bit and do a thicker sketch again, and same with the fairing as well, and a rough idea for a front headlight fairing as well. And now that I'm happy with those shapes, I'm just going to sketch them in pink just so they stand out a bit more. And then as for the exhaust in green, obviously it's not going to be green and the colours aren't going to be pink, it's just for my pen usage. I have no idea what I'm going to do with the exhaust, so I'm going to leave it right there just as a pile of scribbles at the moment. But that is my rough shape that I'm going to follow. And I'm going to leave this episode here. I think the next stage is actually get the foam cut and start modelling it. That's the only thing I can do, and then ideas are going to change as they go along, and that's it. So if you like what you see, subscribe. If you want to follow this bike, obviously subscribe, and you'll see a lot more of the other bikes and everything that this channel has to offer. Until next week, see you then.